We are live. Hey, what is up, everyone? 2 minutes in the box with Gordo. We are here on this beautiful Thursday, and we got a lot of action tonight with 11 games, and especially tonight, last night's games, a lot of historic changes and record breaking. Okay, so first off, let's talk about the first game on the doctrine from last night. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Buffalo Sabres. What a thriller that was. 6-5 overtime winner for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Buffalo Sabres, they thought they had control. 3-1 after the first period. Change of goalies for Tristan Jarry. He got yanked. The backup came in. Unfreaking believable. And I'll tell you, Evgeny Malkin getting his 500th goal in the NHL. And look at the numbers right now. Today, he is the official point leader in the NHL. The clock has reversed into the past in the prime of Evgeny Malkin. Evgeny Malkin's still got it. He is still a workhorse. Sidney Crosby, he got his 1600th point. He looks spectacular. Bloomquist played well in place of Jarry. Jarry had 3 goals against and 5 shots against and a .400 save percentage. That's a lacrosse statistic here, people. That is a lacrosse statistic right there. And Sidney Crosby getting 3 points. That was an impressive turnout by him. And Evgeny Malkin, a goal and 3 helpers. I'll tell you, Evgeny Malkin played his ass off. He definitely earned 11 points in the NHL right now. He's the lead getter of points in the NHL. But Buffalo, on the other hand, they collapsed again. What the hell is wrong with this team? You had a 3-1 lead in after the first period, and you guys collapsed in the second period by Pittsburgh tying it. And then you guys had the lead. You were so close. And then the empty netter comes in and whoop, you guys lose in overtime. Give credit to Alex Tuck and Jason Zucker having 2 helpers right there. And Petra, 2 goals right there. He was a stud last night. He looked very good out there. But Bowen Byram, he settled in nicely for the Buffalo Sabres. He looked very good out there. Yeah. So the Pittsburgh Penguins, that was a very good performance by Sid and Gino. Those 2 still got it and great record breakers. Speaking of goals last night, what a performance by the Toronto Maple Leafs and Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews got his first goal and 2 helpers as the new captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. JT, John Tavares, got a goal. William Nylander and McMahon, 2 goals. Mitch Marner, 3 helps right there. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, he settled in his new role in Toronto. Former Florida Panther defenseman, Stanley Cup champ, 2 assists. Jake McCabe got 2 helpers as well. Morgan Riley is the first defenseman for the Leafs to score a goal on the defensive side of things this year. Anthony Stolarz, he looked spectacular. And I got a feeling that we might see a goaltending controversy. When Bull comes back from injury, he might be the backup. Stolarz, he showed enough credentials what he did last year as the backup goalie for the Florida Panthers and winning a Stanley Cup. I believe that Stolarz is going to be the number 1 goaltender. It's not going to be a surprise. It's going to happen. And I'll say this, Phoenix Copley, took over for Redditch for the LA Kings last night. That looked very sloppy, disappointing right there. The Kings looked off a bit. They couldn't score until the 3rd period. Are you kidding? And Toronto, it's no surprise. They have all the firepower in the world. In the world, they have all that talent, and they still beat LA. Turcotte and Fiala got the 2 goals, but what does it matter? They're playing tonight anyway. Can the LA Kings bounce back tonight? That's the $1 million question. And let's talk about the Boston Bruins and the Colorado Avalanche. right here, this was basically a no surprise brainer here. You know, the Boston Bruins, talented team. They're on a mission. They're pissed. I get it. They are hungry, and they destroyed the Bruins with the final score of 5-3. Pasternak got a goal right there. Kopke got one right there. Charlie Koya, Basher got one, and then Lindholm, he got one as well. They looked very settled in. The Boston Bruins, it's no surprise. And Carpacillo, you know, he got the dub right there, but his save percentage was not good at all. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of save percentages in the 800s. We're going back to the nostalgic era, the 80s and the 70s and early 90s, but it's not a thing. And in Colorado, for one, this is the first time since 98 and 99 they started the season 0-4. You know, I'm just tired of teams and the critics bitch and complain about, oh my God, our team sucks. We're not going to make the playoffs. For the record, you know, we're barely a week into the season. And, you know, you start worrying after Thanksgiving, the American Thanksgiving, not the Canadian Thanksgiving, America Thanksgiving, you got to be worried about for your team. Look at the numbers, people. Look at your numbers. I got to say, Colorado will bounce back. They will be a playoff team. It's early in the season. Stop bitching and complaining about your team's performance. I mean, you know, Ross Colton got one last night. And Mika Rantanen, goal and two helpers right there. They look very good right there. Cal McCarr, no surprise, goal and two helpers, but his plus minus was not good at all. Georgiev, you know, I don't know what it is with him. You know, I don't know if he's healthy, he would not be 0-4 right now. If he's hurt, that could be a good explanation. The Colorado Avalanche better step it up, because if they don't, it's going to hit the fan on them. It's going to hit the fan on them. And Colorado needs to get their job done. All right, let's talk about the last game. What a thrilling overtime game between Utah Hockey Club and the Anaheim Ducks. And I'll tell you what I see. And I'll say this. You know, Nick Schmaltz, 2 assists. Jake McBain looked spectacular. Clayton Keller, what a beautiful goal. Brandon Hayden, he looked good. Dylan Gunther got a helper right there. So did Josh Stone. And Kissing, he looked great out there. Sergachev looked spectacular. Connor Ingram, same percentage, not that great, but you know, at least they got the point out of it. Leo Carlson for the Anaheim Ducks. He is Matt Sundin. He could literally be the next Matt Sundin. Crafty, works on his edge. He is a superstar in the making. Greg Cronin's got something special with Leo Carlson right there. He looked very good. Troy Terry got a goal as well. For Toronto and Zegras, they both got helpers right there. But I got to tell you, Zegras is settling down. He is not going to be a showboat like he's white chocolate Jason Williams in the NBA back in the day, or Pistol Pete Maravich. You can't do that. I mean, if you do that in front of Greg Cronin, Crow will bench you. I'm not kidding. You do not want to do that right there. And on the back end, I'll tell you, what a surprise by Mitch Cove. He looked good out there last night. 2 goals. What a stud. In Anaheim, they got a very valuable win right there. They're 2-1. They're 1-0 at home. It was their first home game of the season. Utah, they are 3-1-1 right now. This is not worry about. This is normal, people. This is normal for the start of the regular season. Okay, let's get to the news and rumors of the day. Excuse me. Something's been ravaging my throat. All right. Rumors. Let's get to the rumors, people. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this right here. Tristan Jarry, 6-0, opening loss. He lost 6-0 to the New York Rangers. And Joel Blomqvist, he played well for the next 2 games. I don't know what it is, but Tristan Jarry is not the same goaltender. Alex Nedeljkovic, he's back off the IR. He's in the American League in Wilkes-Barre. The Pittsburgh Penguins could have another goaltending controversy. Man, this team hasn't been right since they got rid of Marc-Andre Fleury. The dumbest trade. I mean, they got fleeced by Vegas. They got fleeced in a horrible way. Don't forget, Pittsburgh Penguins, they've had a history of being fleeced. Remember that one time where they had Marcus Naslund as their draft pick? He was the future, but they had a budget and all. And they traded Marcus Naslund because he wasn't getting the playing time. And he then became a superstar with the Vancouver Canucks. And then they get nothing in return. Nothing. Straight up nothing. And, Pittsburgh, they better do their due diligences, because I wouldn't be surprised by next year they will be a lottery team and they'll get the #1 draft pick. They'll get Connor Bedard's cousin. They will get Bedard's cousin from Madison Hat of the Western Hockey League. And let's see what else we've got here. In the rumor mill, it was super quiet, though. It's super quiet. And, we like Sidney Crosby, he still got it. I got a feeling he will be I think he's going to break Patrick Marleau's most games played record. I think he's going to be playing till he's 50. Sidney Crosby loves the game of hockey. He loves this game so much. Sidney Crosby will be playing till he's 50. That's no secret. He'll play 25 years in the NHL, or he'll go till he's 50. I mean, he's still. But here's the thing: nobody will break Wayne Gretzky's point record. Goals, yes. Assists, no. The only person I believe who came close of breaking the record is Jaromir Jagr. Yags, if it weren't for the lockouts, if it weren't for playing in Russia and the Czech Republic and in Italy in a game or two, and in Germany, I believe Jaromir Jagr would be close to breaking the record of Wayne Gretzky. And Jaromir is single-handedly one of the greatest players of all time. And let's talk about this right here. Going back to Crosby getting 1,600 points and Gino getting 500. This trio could still get it done, but they were close of losing to Buffalo. They were so damn close of losing to Buffalo. And I'll say, Austin Matthews, he looked very good. But, listen, being a captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, it's a bitch, man. It is hard to be a captain. Just look at anyone who's been a captain of the Maple Leafs, I mean, their hair's falling off. Wendell Clark, Matt Sundin, Dion Phaneuf. I mean, they lost Phaneuf lost his soul when he became captain. I mean, I like Dion, but he lost his soul. He lost the enthusiasm. Toronto can suck the life out of you. And, John Tavares, he handled the pressure well, but it's not easy being the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And in a Canadian market, it's not easy. It's not easy being a captain of a historic franchise in Toronto or Montreal. Calgary, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Ottawa, and Vancouver. I'll say this. It's hard to be a captain in a very hockey-crazed market. Dylan Larkin, he's handled the job well. Stevie Y, he and Henrik Zetterberg and Lindstrom, those guys handled being captain like real leadership, true humbleness. Boston Bruins, when they had Zdeno Chara, it was first class. I mean, you had a very good leadership. Kopitar is a great captain. You've got to have stable leadership and a strong locker room to survive. Connor McDavid, though, McDavid, he is a tough SOB. You got to admit that Connor McDavid, this is an all or nothing, do or die year. Everyone has picked the Edmonton Oilers to have a deep run, and they want vengeance. They want a revenge because it was supposed to be their time of winning the cup, but nope. Florida Panthers came in, and so on and so forth. And I gotta tell you, like I had a phone call yesterday with an NHL executive and a broadcaster, and we discussed this that the Detroit Red Wings, they could be looking for a new coach. There's been talks that if Derek Lalonde does not get it together with the boys in the locker room, I believe Derek will be gone within the next 2 weeks if the Red Wings keep sliding. And Joel Quenneville will be summoned from Boca Raton and back on the NHL bench. Him and Kaner reunited. It will be like the glory days. But I hate to say this, but I don't know if this Red Wings squad is ready to handle Joel Quenneville. I don't know if this roster. I mean, Patrick Kane is almost out of gas. DeBrincat, I think he can handle it, and Raymond and Sider and stuff. You got a good roster, but is it compelling enough to handle the rigorous challenge of Joel Quenneville? We're talking about the second winningest coach in NHL history. Joel Quenneville is not going to take it easy on these guys. The Red Wings still need they got some good goaltending out of Cam Talbot and Alex Lyon so far, but it's not an easy walk in the park for this Red Wings squad. They are the second longest tenured non-playoff team right now in the NHL, right behind Buffalo. The Red Wings got to get it done. I mean, if Derek Lalonde gets booted, oh yeah, that Joel Quenneville is going to be taking a first-class flight from Palm Beach Airport up to Detroit, and he's going to be moving into my neighborhood. I don't know if he is or not, but who knows? Maybe Dan Campbell can come in there and give him some motivation and some reignited fire in him, just to make sure that, welcome back into the coaching realms to the second greatest coach of all time. And it's been, and let's just say this, it's been a slow day on the rumor doctrine. It's been a slow day in the rumor doctrine in the NHL. And I'll say this, the talks, it's all quiet right now. It's a quiet arena right now. It's a quiet arena right now, people. If there is something in the NHL, something has to give. Something has got to give here, people. I got to tell you, if the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're not bad. They're not a bad squad, but they've still got ways to go, man. They still got ways to go. All right, so now we got a new segment right here. It's called Forgotten Players of the Past. Let's talk about 20 players that you may have forgotten that played in the NHL. Any of your childhood idols? Let's talk about it. Oh, yeah, Mike Knuble. Yeah, I remember him. He used to play for the Red Wings, the Flyers, and the Bruins. Man, in the Capitals, he was just spectacular. He was part of that Stanley Cup squad early year in the Red Wings. He was very good, and 30 goals, play with the Flyers, and he's played a 1,000+ games in the NHL and over 500 points plus. And he was a very underrated player. He played at University of Michigan. He was one of those guys, a very consistent 20-goal scorers. He was Mike Knuble. Like, he was part of that stacked Red Wing squad in the late 90s going to the Stanley Cups. Now, let's talk about the second one, Alexei Kovalev. Alexei Kovalev, he was straight up a magician, an OG, an early 90s first round pick by the New York Rangers. He was spectacular. I mean, I remember seeing him play at Joe Louis Arena when he was playing with the Penguins. And I remember Mario just gives him a nice pass and Kovalev just dances around the Red Wings and goal. I was like, wow, unbelievable. And I had the chance to meet Alexei Kovalev. And I remember, getting a picture with him and stuff. And he asked me if I wanted to play for his Strangers Cup team. And I was like, you kidding me, right? You want me to play with you? Are you sure about this, Alexei? You really want me to play for you? And then, it didn't go as planned. So, but Alexei Kovalev, he is still in hockey right now. He's in the KHL and in the managerial and coaching side of things. But that dude can move on his edges very well and very crafty. I mean, he is very cunning right here and calculating. What an amazing hockey player Alexei Kovalev is. Jonathan Cheechoo. Remember this guy? I remember him like it was yesterday. Did he win the Rocket Richard Trophy in 2006? All because Joe Thornton traded from the Boston Bruins and it helped Jonathan Cheechoo. He got an all-star appearance. He scored 56 goals in 05-06. And then his point total, his goals declined, and then he ended back in the American League. And, he ended up having some injury issues, but, he is still in hockey right now. Last I heard, he is coaching youth hockey in the Bay Area in California. And I'll tell you, never forget that 1 year, guys. Never forget Jonathan Cheechoo, 56 goals and a Rocket Richard Trophy. That record may never be broken again. And also, he got an Art Ross. And Joe Thornton got Art Ross and the Hart Trophy, because what an amazing player that Cheechoo was. That Rocket Richard Trophy, 56 goals, just spectacular. Just spectacular. Next guy we're talking about is Wade Redden. Remember Wade Redden? Second overall pick, New York Islanders, got traded for flip picks for Brian Berard, and he played with the Ottawa Senators, and he signed that infamous contract with the New York Rangers, and then he got demoted to the American League, and he was like the highest paid player in American Hockey League history at $6.5 million that the Rangers had to pay for the guy. Like, he was straight up a menace with the Senators. He was just beloved in Ottawa. And then he took that $39 million contract and he just became a shell of himself. And he was underwhelming. He ended up going, like I said, into the American League. Then he got bounced around to Boston, St. Louis. And, I still remember him to this day. I still think that, Wade Redden still gets a bad rep, but, hey, money can change you, like it can exceed your expectations or below subpar. But Wade Redden, yeah, I remember him. All right, now let's talk about Brian Rafalski. Brian Rafalski, I straight up love this guy. Played with the New Jersey Devils and the Detroit Red Wings. Played his college hockey at Wisconsin. Played a year in Finland, and he was not drafted. And he is a Detroit, Michigan native. I mean, never missed the playoffs. He was just a calculating, brilliant power play specialist. Him and Lindstrom on the back end, just unbelievable. 3 Stanley Cups, Red Wings. And he also had 2 with the New Jersey Devils. He was unbelievable. I mean, he was just a brilliant defenseman, and a brilliant move by Lou Lamoriello, bring him in. And then Kenny Holland getting him that contract to come home and play with the Detroit Red Wings. And I remember he was attempting a comeback to play in the NHL. And I was at the Florida Everblades, ECHL, over on the other side of the state. And he was playing very well. I talked to the Islanders about bringing him on over. And the Islanders told me, yeah, just go to the games, go incognito, go talk to him, give him a card, whatever. And I talked to his agent, and they were very interested about going to the Islanders. And then after the second game, Brian Rafalski said, "I'm sorry I have to say this. I can't do this anymore. My disc slipped. I can't do it anymore. I'm retiring." And that was the end of that. So yeah, Brian Rafalski, he was one of the best defensemen in the 2000s, just straight up. I mean, Lady Bing, Norris Trophy. This guy was just brilliant. 450-point seasons. He was spectacular. Marty Turco. Oh, yeah. I remember Marty Turco, University of Michigan, Sault Ste. Marie native, played for the Dallas Stars and the Boston Bruins. Early in his career, he was a dynamite goaltender for the Dallas Stars. Deep playoff run, conference final. He was very underrated. And then, late in his career, he struggled quite a bit, and it wasn't pretty to the end of his career. He was a runner-up at the Vezina Trophy, and he was top 5 in the 2000s, and he just crashed and burned at the end of his career. But during his prime, during Marty Turco's prime, he was unbelievable in the early mid 2000s. That goaltender saved a lot of asses in Dallas. All right, now let's talk about Simon Gagne. Simon Gagne, Philadelphia Flyers. He was amazing. He played with Jeremy Roenick. He played with John LeClaire, Mark Recchi. He had a great supporting cast around him. He was consistent, 30 goals, and he had 40 goals one season, but the injuries took a toll. He had concussion problems. He played with the Bruins, and he won his Stanley Cup with the LA Kings. He got a Stanley Cup. That is the good thing. But if it weren't for the injuries, Simon Gagne would be in those conversations of greatness. But Simon Gagne, he's still a winner in my heart, and still a winner in South Philly, in Philadelphia Flyers. That dude was nostalgic and a classic Philadelphia Flyer. Oh, yeah. Now we go to Marc Savard. Another guy who had a career-ending injury with a concussion. This dude was brilliant. I remember when he was Atlanta Thrasher, he was just resiliently brilliant. Power play, assisting, bam, bam, bam. He was just spectacular, and took the big money deal in Boston. He looked spectacular as a Boston Bruin as well. But, Matt Cook, game over. Game over. At least he got a Stanley Cup out of it. And, he's become a very reliable assistant coach. He started out in the OHL, and he did a very darn good job in the OHL and get to become an assistant in the NHL. He was an assistant in St. Louis and Calgary, and now he's currently the power play offensive assistant to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'll tell you, Marc Savard, man, that dude was electrifying. That dude was just this talented player. If it weren't for the injuries, he was just unreal. 97 points, and it was just a sad way to see a guy at 33 with the concussions. He was a talented SLB. Next up, another favorite of mine growing up, Scott Gomez, Anchorage, Alaska native. He was a superstar, first-round pick by the Devils, and he was Rookie of the Year. He's gotten 2 Stanley Cups. He was a dynamite playmaker, and he was unbelievable in during the lockout 04-05, playing for his hometown team, Alaska Aces. The fans straight up loved him. He was MVP in the ECHL, but a lot of those minor leaguers were not too happy that he won MVP. And Scott Gomez, he was just a phenom. And I remember there was a thing that the New Jersey Devils wanted Pavel Datsyuk so bad. They wanted to trade Scott Gomez for Pavel Datsyuk, but that trade never went through. So Scotty Gomez took the contract to the New York Rangers, And his career, it just kind of fizzled out and died down, and he ended up playing like being a journeyman, and he had stops, in Ottawa, Florida. I mean, yeah, like I got a chance to hang out with the guy. He's a character, and he's a huntsman. He loves to fish and hunt up in the wilderness in Alaska. And last I heard, he is coaching in the BCHL right now, and he's done a very darn good job getting some high end talent for college kids and then being a top tier team in the BCHL. And yeah, Scott Gomez, he was very consistent in New Jersey. And Montreal, and don't forget, I remember when he was in Montreal, there was a streak that he couldn't score a goal, and he finally got a goal, but he's still a favorite of mine in hockey. We got Sheldon Surrey. Oh yeah, remember him, Sheldon Surrey, 220 goal seasons in the 2000s, Montreal and in Edmonton. And he had the hardest shot, unofficial record, and and then Sheldon Surrey had a weird ending in his NHL career in Edmonton. Edmonton was just a bad scene for him. He had his moments, but it was just a bad scene for him. And Sheldon Surrey, was very good what he did on the power play. He had a hell of a shot. I mean, we're talking like 110 mile per hour slap shot or 120. Yeah, he's no Chara, but he broke the record. It's an unofficial record, but yeah, I loved how Sheldon Surrey played. He was very underrated in Montreal, and then when he got that contract in Edmonton, his career took a nosedive after that. But he had a great shot. Sergei Gonchar. Oh yeah, I love Sergei Gonchar. Sergei Gonchar was this dude. He was a great instrumental piece to the Pittsburgh Penguins in their Stanley Cup victory in 2009. And he was great around with Sid and Gino and all those and that cast of players. I remember him being in the Washington Capitol and New York Ranger. And I remember he was in the Boston Bruins, I should say. It was the Bruins. I remember he was at the Capitals, took them to the Cup Finals in '98. I mean, Gonchar was just unbelievable. And he should be in the Hall of Fame. He was under the radar type, but he still produced numbers. And Gonchar, he was a great teacher to Chris Letang. He was just spectacular. I mean, he was that type of dude. Thomas Vokoun. I know Voki. Thomas Vokoun. I love Voki. Voki's a beauty. I mean, he was the most underrated goaltender I've ever, encountered and watched. I mean, he played, with Nashville, Florida, Pittsburgh, and he paved the way for Pekka Rinne. I mean, he is a great teacher and a great coach. He's coaching, youth hockey in South Florida right now. He is just a dynamite guy. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever known. And his save percentage, in Florida, held a .923 on a bad Florida Panthers squad. But the Florida Panthers, if the Panthers should have appreciated him more. If they had a better team around him, this would be a different history. That Vokoun would be like, straight up like a savior for the Florida Panthers. Like it was a unique situation, that he came in there, for first round pick and all that stuff to Florida. But damn, I loved Vokoun. He's one of the nicest guys you would ever meet, and he played his ass off. And also, like, I watched him coach. He's a great teacher of the game. He's developed so many good young goalies in youth hockey. I mean, it's a great resume, and he all-star. You gotta give a lot of love and appreciation and respect to Thomas Vokoun. He is an OG. Oh yeah, remember Brandon Morrison? Yeah, University of Michigan defenseman, played with the Vancouver Canucks. He's a Hobie Baker Award winner. Oh yeah, he had like he was on a line with Marcus Naslin, Todd Bertuzzi for 6 seasons, and he was finishing over 50 points and 82 games, stayed consistently healthy. He was it was a different time, but that line right there is one of the dangerous lines. And if it weren't for the Top Bertuzzi incident, this Canuck team would have made it to the Cup Finals and would have won in 04. That's how good I thought Brandon Morrison is. And there was a line called third guy on a great line. That was the line right there. With Marcus Naslin and Top Bertuzzi. I mean, consistent player. Put a guy like that right there, very reliable and consistent. Alex Tanguay. Oh yeah, I haven't forgotten about Alex Tanguay. He's currently assistant coach of the Detroit Red Wings. Very smart, cunning guy. He knows how to be a great playmaker, a great centerman. He's a great two-way player. Very consistent. Got a Stanley Cup with the Colorado Avalanche, and but he would score 25 goals consistently. And in his career high 81 points in 06-07, he was just a great playmaker and a great assistant coach. Oh yeah, I still remember this guy to this day. Thomas Holmstrom, Homer. Oh yeah, I grew up watching this guy. Homer, what a beauty he is. He paved the way. He was a great teacher to Johan Franzen, and for 15 years. He had 5 20-goal seasons. He would get in front of the net. He would just do all the blue collar, gritty, dirty work in front of the net, screening, just knows how to bury the puck. He would sacrifice his body to make sure he gets those goals. Homer, what a beauty he is. He is got 4 Stanley Cups. That's hard work and dedication to the game of hockey. I miss those days, Thomas Holmstrom and Johan Franzen. I miss those Red Wing days. It just sucks. It's not the same Red Wings, it's like a sad version. It's like before Mike Ilitch bought the team with cowards and no courage and strength. I miss Thomas Holmstrom. I miss that dude. Man, I remember that dude like it was yesterday. Dan Boyle. Remember Danny Boyle? Danny Boyle, defenseman. He was Stanley Cup champ for the Tampa Bay Lightning in 04, 6 times between 02-03 and 2010-11. He had at least 50 points, and he was in the top 5 in the Norris Trophy candidate. And this dude was just unbelievable, on the offense side of things. But defensively, he was liability sometimes, but it was always fun to watch this guy. He was just unbelievable. Dion Phaneuf. I was thinking about Dion Phaneuf. I was just speaking about him earlier. Dion Phaneuf. He was supposed to be the next Scott Stevens. I mean, just a tough guy, And also he can hit, score goals. I mean, he was like Dennis Potvin, including as well, but he never got to the pinnacle that people wanted him to. He had a very bright future, like I remember the day he got traded to Toronto, and I was thinking to myself, what the hell are you doing? Why would you do this? Trade Dion Phaneuf to Toronto. That trade did not make any sense, Brian Burke was freaking nuts. Oh, I gotta, retooling and all that stuff. That was the dumbest trade, And I'll tell you, you should have never traded for Phil Kessel and for Dion Phaneuf. That was stupid and reckless. The Maple Leafs could have had, like an alternative timeline. You could have had Tuukka Rask. You could have had Tyler Seguin and Dougie Hamilton as your core, but no, you didn't. You ruined a good situation, and then Phaneuf, at least he almost got to the Cup Finals with Ottawa. He was like all the analytic critics. Oh, he's just slow and physical and goonish. I like the way he played, though. The game just got too fast for him, and that's why his career got ended. In 2019. Last we've heard, he's running some marijuana company. And he's married to Alicia Cuthbert, and they're living in LA. Yeah, I mean, I just wish Dion Phaneuf would have had more of a historic storied career like Scott Stevens and Dennis Potvin. there was a catalog of players, a catalog group of players. Oh yeah, Manny Legacy. Oh yeah, remember? Oh yeah, I love Manny Legacy. He's currently the goalie coach. I don't know if he is still or not for the Blue Jackets, but he was a 1A, 1B type of guy. Like he played along with a lot of greats like Chris Osgood, Dominic Hasek, Curtis Joseph. I mean, Manny was just a beauty. He was straight up beauty. And then, like postseason success, after the final playoffs, he went to St. Louis, became a backup. And I still remember Manny Legacy. I still love the way he played. He was straight up one of those guys who can basically, you know, can be a starter. And he was, and one of those guys. I mean, I remember 0506, him and like I think it was him. Hey, Brandon, how you doing, buddy? But like I said, but what a beauty Manny Legacy was. I mean, I got the chance to watch him play quite a bit, a lot, in Detroit. He was very underrated. He was one of the most underrated goalies in Detroit Red Wing history. I just respect and love the guy. Brian Giunta. Oh, yeah. Remember Brian Giunta? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Play with the New Jersey Devils. And, 48 goals, 0506 season. He was just one of those guys. He was a great guy all around. He was very consistent power play playmaking machine, and he was just an energy guy. He was just goes on and on and on, But his career went quiet, late to his career, and I tell you, he is a great guy, great teammate all around. Yeah, Brian Giunta, one of those guys. And last but not lastly, Olli Jokinen. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Everybody in South Florida knows Olli Jokinen in the 2000s. He's a god, And don't people forget that he was a third overall pick in the '97 draft, and he bounced around from L.A. into the New York Islanders, and like everyone was calling him a bust, but Mike Keenan took a flyer, a pamphlet, a chance on Olli Jokinen, turned his career around. Like his numbers were insane in Florida. I mean, unbelievable with 567 games played, 188 goals, 231 assists, and he was Mr. Florida Panthers in the 2000s. And people forgot, his career took a nosedive ever since the Richard Zednik skate. I don't want to go there, but once he got traded from Florida to Calgary, he was not the same. I mean, we're seeing it right now with the Hubert Okachuk trade, but that was tragic to say the least for Olli Jokinen. Olli, he's a great coach. I've got the privilege and honor to be to watch him coach, build youth hockey in South Florida. They had the South Florida Hockey Academy with Radek Dvorak. Shout out to Devo and Voki and Olli. Those guys were a huge instrument of building South Florida Hockey Academy. They built a great program. It's a damn shame it's not there anymore, but I would love for them to bring South Florida Hockey Academy back. That was a good organization, a well-ran, first-class organization, and it's a damn shame. I wish that they would have the program back and so on. All right, let's talk about the final games. Let's talk about the games tonight, shall we? Sorry for ranting on the top 20, but let's talk about the games tonight, shall we? Loading. All right, here we go. I mentioned earlier we have 11 games tonight. You got to be very busy. You got to be aware of who is on tonight. All right, first off, we got LA against Montreal. LA's got to bounce back. But Montreal, they're a feisty young team. It's going to be a close one. I think LA gets this one right here. Then you've got the New Jersey Devils and the Ottawa Senators. I'm going to go, New Jersey on this one. They're young, they're feisty, they're fast. They got the goaltending. They got a complete structure team. Ottawa's struggling with a goaltending issue because Allmark's injured. He's on the IR. Then you've got Vegas against Tampa Bay Lightning. This one is going to be a fun matchup. I'm going to go with Tampa on this one. They're 2-0, and I like what they're doing with Gensel and stuff. They feel reignited and recharged. Vancouver against Florida. I'm going to be at that game tonight. The Panthers against the Canucks. I am definitely going to go. I'm going to go Florida on this one. Vancouver has been. They're looking for their first win still, but you never know. Vancouver can be a big thorn in my paw, if you know what I mean. Vancouver can be a dangerous team, but they could be looking up for the first win. My alter ego says Florida, the other side goes Vancouver, so it's split down the middle. Then you got Dallas against Washington. Dallas is a dangerous team. Dallas best start, the fourth time in their history they're in the undefeated start of the season. I'm going to go Dallas on this one. They are feisty. They're ready. They're going to get something. Then you got Buffalo against Columbus. I'm going to say Buffalo this one. They should have won last night, but they're going to be more motivated even more tonight. Then you got the Rangers against the Red Wings. I'm going to go New York Rangers. The Red Wings, I can feel that seat getting warmer. Derek Gallant will get the axe. Quenneville will be the next coach of the Red Wings. I guarantee it next week. I'm going to sense it. I'm going to be at that Red Wing game next week, and I'm going to be hearing a lot of talk. Quenneville will be leaving Boca Raton to go to Detroit to fix it. Once iconic franchise, the New York Islanders against St. Louis Blues. I'm going to go with the New York Islanders. The Islanders, they are an interesting squad right now. I like their chances, and they're fast. They're a hardworking team under Patrick Waugh. All right, now you've got Edmonton and Nashville. Both teams are very underwhelming and disappointing so far to the early start, but I like to see Nashville get a first win of the season at home against Edmonton, I should say. But, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, I wouldn't be surprised they get 4 points, 2 each on them. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a close one, but I'm still picking Nashville. Chicago, San Jose, I'm going to go San Jose on this one. But hold on, not so fast, my friend. According to Lee Corso back in the day, yeah, I think Chicago's got this one. I think they got the better depth all around. I think I'm going to go with Chicago instead of San Jose. Now you've got Philadelphia and Seattle. Well, I'm going to say, this will be a close matchup, but I'm going to go Philadelphia Flyers. I want to go Flyers because, I think Michkov is going to dominate, do what he does best, get his goals and stuff. I believe he's going to get goal and 2 assists tonight. I think this will be like a 5-3, 5-4 game. So Philadelphia, I think I got you guys on my thing. All right. This has been 2 Minutes in the Box with Gordo. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll be back tomorrow on Friday for the new episode. All right. Don't forget, subscribe and like and share with your family and friends on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, True Social, and Rumble. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. And don't forget, Facebook, Instagram, True Social, Rumble, and X. Make sure you spread the word, people. Have a great day.